In this episode, we're going to teach you how to prep the surfaces that you just installed your new drywall, how to install the mesh tape, and how to apply the first coat of hot mud. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Stay tuned. Okay, so for this prep stage, this is the first thing you want to do before you do any patches, is go around to every single patch and scrape all around the edges really good so that there's no high spots and there's no paper torn or anything. So you make sure that everything's flat around your patch. And then while you're there, you can use the mesh tape over all the sections where the new drywall meets the existing drywall. And the preferred method is the mesh tape, but you have to use the quick-set hot mud in order for it to bond good and not crack. If you use regular joint compound, you cannot use the mesh tape. You have to use the paper tape. So this is a much faster system and it dries a lot harder and stronger. So we're going to prep up these patches with the mesh tape and get them ready for our first coat. So this would be the first step, is the prep. So important. Don't mix any hot mud until you have all your areas prepped and ready to go. And then you go to the next step. So let's prep out some of these patches. Okay, so these are the tools you're going to want for your first coat on the prepping. Okay, after it's prepped, and you're going to apply mud over this tape to fill any gaps or anything like that. You either want a 4-inch knife, 5-inch or 6-inch, doesn't matter, whatever you like to use most. And then an 8-inch for certain situations. You might need an 8-inch knife and your hawk. What I do is I take the skinniest knife I have, either the 6-inch, 5-inch, 4-inch, and that's what I use to take the mud out of the bucket. And only grab a little bit. I take one scoop out. That way it's not dropping all over the place. I'm going to start on the ceiling. And I'm going to use the 8-inch only because this is a decent sized patch. And what you want to do is, when your tools are fresh and clean, you just want to take a little bit so it doesn't fall off on the floor. And it's thick enough anyway. It's not going anywhere. You mix it thick. So you put a little bit of mud on your 8-inch, and you just wipe the hot set on all the edges. And you fill that tape, every bit of the tape. Fill all the edges of the tape. Don't leave any of the mesh tape exposed. And then what you do is, with very little pressure, you just float over the middle of it, and that's it. And that's your first coat. Now, while I'm wiping these, I'll show you on a wall. You always want to apply more pressure on the outside edge of your knife, so it creates a really nice blend and you're not leaving any edges anywhere. So we'll do this wall patch, make sure the mesh tape is stuck really well. See, this little bit of mud goes a long way. You just put a nice even coat over everything, and again, make sure that you cover all of your tape. And then on the ceiling edge, you clean up your ceiling. You can wipe that bottom by putting it at an angle. Put your knife at an angle. Then what you do is, with very little pressure, you just glide over what you did. Just glide over it. That's it, done. So what you want to do also is, if when you're using your hawk and the mud starts getting spread all around it, always pull from one side of your hawk. That way, if you are using the mud and you have something like a little particle of something that leaves a line, you can take that out and you can put it on a certain side of the hawk and you're never gonna grab the mud again. So keep your mud right where you're gonna take it, all right? And then you hold your tools in the hand that's holding the hawk. And again, the same thing, a little bit at a time so that it doesn't fall off. Okay, and then you wipe it. So every time I wipe it, I clean the tool. And just very little pressure, very little pressure. Done. That's your first coat. All right. In the next episode, we're going to teach you how to apply the second and third coat. Also, check out our page for other content, and thanks for watching.